Hello everyone, this is Kalimullah Khan from Islamia College, Vaniambadi, Tamil Nadu. I am glad to have you all for the program on quantification of DNA. Hope you all had wonderful session on an isolation of genomic DNA and gained the knowledge about how to isolate DNA from any source. Let us quickly have notable points about DNA barcoding before we talk about quantification of DNA. DNA barcoding is a method of species identification using a short section of DNA from a specific gene or a multiple genes. DNA barcoding techniques were developed from early DNA sequencing work on microbial communities using the 5S rRNA gene, that is ribosomal gene. In 2003, a Canadian biologist called Paul Dion Hebert and his team proposed a very specific method and terminology of modern DNA barcoding as a standardized method for identifying species. He used cytochrome oxidase subunit 1 as a standard diagnostic region to help identify species, define species boundary and aid in species delimitation. So he is called father of DNA barcoding. Please keep his name in your memory. Dr. Paul Dion Hebert, a Canadian biologist, is called as father of DNA barcoding. Yes, DNA barcoding involves a number of steps like sampling the study material, extraction of specific DNA. There are three different methods: kit method, salting out method, phenol chloroform method, quantification of DNA particularly by UV spectrophotometer, amplification of DNA by PCR, separation of DNA fragments for extraction and purification with the help of agarose gel electrophoresis, DNA sequencing, DNA sequence analysis and alignment, submission of gene sequence to NCBI, and construction of phylogenetic tree. A few notable application of DNA barcoding is identification of species. Example, whatever the sample you are taking for barcoding, you are not aware to which order it belongs, to which family it belongs. With the help of DNA barcoding, you will be able to identify the species of unknown, detection of invasive species, and delimiting cryptic species, nothing but complex species, a group of closely related organisms that are similar in appearance and the boundaries between them are often unclear. Example, butterfly. You can see that numbers of colors. So it is called delimiting the cryptic species. With the help of DNA barcoding, you will be able to fix their family level. Alright, these all are a few notable points about DNA barcoding and its application. I am sure that you will be gaining very interesting knowledge about DNA barcoding from each and every session which are being taken for you. In last session, you all have gained knowledge about isolation of DNA, isn't it? Assume that you have isolated cytochrome oxidase subunit 1 gene from animal source. What would be the next process? Yes, it is quantification of DNA. Why we need to quantify the DNA? Nucleic acids are quantified to check the concentration and purity of DNA RNA present in the solution. It is important to know the concentration and purity of the nucleic acid for the use in further application like PCR, restriction digestion, etc. So, coming to the points, why quantification is required? for example, in restriction digest, a fewer or no transformation occurs. That means when you insert a specific gene into a target genome, they, the success rate is very few or no transformation occurs. This is due to the contamination in DNA that may inhibit the enzyme. Sometimes DNA isolated might have blocked by its own methylation process. Incubation time was too short during the isolation, so the yield is very less. To ensure the result, DNA is pure and not contaminating RNA or proteins. To ensure how much DNA you have, sometimes your yield may be lower than desired. You may require 10 micrograms, whereas you have 5 micrograms in your hand. Likewise, by quantitating your purified DNA, you will know if it is sufficient for one or more experiment. Without knowing the DNA concentration of the sample, the amount of input DNA cannot be guaranteed and experiment may have to be repeated. And coming to the methods available to quantify the DNA, we know that UV spectrophotometer is one of the more commonly used practices to quantitate the DNA. And apart from this, we have UV induced ethidium bromide fluorescence emission. This will help to measure if there is not enough DNA to quantify with a spectrophotometer, or if the DNA solution is contaminated. And the last one, aqueous jelly electrophoresis. The second and third, both the methods are time consuming when compared to UV spectrophotometer. Yes. What is UV spectrophotometer? Let us talk about UV spectrophotometer. UV spectrophotometer is an instrument which measures the amount of light of a specified wavelength which passes through a medium. The principle of UV spectrophotometer is, according to Beers and Lambert's law, the amount of light absorbed by a medium is directly proportional to the concentration and the length of the absorbing material or solute present. So it is calculated as per the formula given here, where A absorbance, I intensity of the incident light at a given wavelength, and I0 transmitted intensity. So here I can explain you the principle how it works. Spectrophotometer is made up of two instruments. One is spectrometer and another one is photometer. The spectrometer is to produce a light of any wavelength, while the photometer is to measure the intensity of light. The light source produces the polychromatic light, and the light passes through the monochromator, where the light divided into two beams. The beams passes through the cuvettes containing samples. The photometer measures the amount of light that passes through the sample and delivers a voltage signal to the display. Yes, here the explanation. When a light passes through monochromator, the wavelength of the light is separated by prism and recorded and selected by slits inside the monochromator. This slit further divide the beams into two. One beam passes through this sample solution, the another one passes through reference solution. The two beams receive in detector, one from sample cells and another from reference cells. Reference beam intensity is stronger than sample. The low light generated in the photo cell is transferred to amplifier, where it amplifies the signals many times to record the signal. Amplifier is connected to computer to store the generated data and produces the spectrum of desired compounds. Before we talk about the simplest procedure like quantification of DNA by spectrophotometer, we have a few notable points to remember. For quantitating DNA or RNA, reading should be taken at wavelengths of 260 nanometer and 280 nanometer. You can raise the question, why does DNA absorb in 260 nanometer? Usually nucleic acids have an absorbance wavelength of 260 nanometer because of the nucleobases that they are made of. Due to purine and pyrimidine bases, the DNA absorbs the UV with a maximum at a wavelength of 260 nanometer. The protein absorbs the UV at 280 nanometer because of tyrosine, phenylalanine and tryptophan rings. The standard reading at 260 nanometer allows calculation of the concentration of nucleic acid in the sample. Please note an important point that when the sample containing double-stranded DNA gives 1 OD at 260 nanometer, then it contains 50 microgram DNA per ml. 50 microgram DNA, that is double-stranded DNA per ml. Similarly, the sample containing single-stranded DNA gives 1 OD at 260 nanometer, 33 microgram per ml single-stranded DNA. Similarly, the sample containing RNA gives 1 OD at 260 nanometer, then it contains 40 microgram per ml of RNA. This is the standard concentration. Here are the procedure to begin with quantification of DNA. As you all aware that first turn on the UV spectrophotometer and computer. Allow the spectrophotometer to warm up for 15 minutes before use. Rinse the cuvettes with deionized water. Kindly note that use deionized water. The concentrations of nucleic acid in solution are routinely determined from the strong absorbance at 260 nanometer. So set the parameters 260 in UV spectrophotometer. Fill the cuvettes with deionized water. Place them in reference and sample slot. Set the program to 0. Now you remove the cuvette from S slot and replace the water with DNA sample. Place the cuvette back into sample slot. Read the absorbance. Kindly do not use the concentrated DNA what you have isolated. So dilute it to 100 times before you start processing with taking the reading. So take 10 microliter sample from your isolated DNA tube and dilute it with 990 microliter nanopure water. Here the picture shows the absorbance of DNA and protein at various wavelength. The line for, you can see the three different lines here. Yes, one, that is a line, and second dashed line and dotted lines. You can see this particular line here, and second dashed line here, and the third dotted line here. So from this line, the line for DNA indicates that the presence of absorbance is maximum at 260 nanometer. Here, maximum at 260 nanometer. Similarly, the dashed line for protein indicates the absorbance is maximum at 280 nanometer. Here it is, yes. The dotted line for the DNA contaminated with some proteins indicates the absorbance is maximum at 260 nanometer. Coming to the main theme of quantification of DNA. The first one is determination of DNA concentration. It's not a rocket science, just a matter. Even in 1 minute, you can find out how much concentration of DNA your sample is. So you have diluted the sample 100 times. That means 10 microliter sample you have taken and diluted with 990 microliter. So the dilution factor is 100. The particular 100 dilution factor, nothing but 1000 microliters sample you have taken in the cuvette. This is very simple way to determine the concentration of DNA. Kindly keep it in mind. We know the absorbance of sample at 260 nanometer, that is 1.6. The OD is 1.6. And we know the dilution factor, that is 100. And the standard concentration of double stranded DNA at 260 nanometer is 50 microgram per ml. And the formula to determine the concentration is absorbance at 260 multiplication 50 microgram per ml multiplication dilution factor. So 1 by 1. 1.6 is the absorbance at 260 nanometer, multiply with 500 microgram per ml, that is a standard concentration of double stranded DNA at 260 nanometer, and into 100, that is a dilution factor. We have diluted the sample 100 times. It gives 8 microgram per ml. The concentration of DNA is so once you are aware about the concentration of DNA, now we have to determine the DNA purity. How? Determination of DNA purity is to evaluate the DNA purity, measure the absorbance from 230 nanometer to 320 nanometer to detect other possible contaminants. The only one contaminants here, protein and as well as RNA. DNA purity is the ratio of the absorbance at 260 nanometer divided by the reading at 280 nanometer. Always a good quality DNA will have ratio in between 1.7 to 2. You can calculate the purity by the absorbance at 260 divided by absorbance. When you work out with a given formula, if you get a absorbance in between 1.7 to 2, the purity is acceptable. If you are getting absorbance less than 1.7, the sample is contaminated with protein. If you are getting the absorbance greater than 2, probably your sample is contaminated with RNA or phenol. When you coming to the determination of DNA yield, it's very simple. Multiply the DNA concentration with the total sample available. Total yield is obtained by multiplying the DNA concentration by the final total purified sample volume. Here we know that our DNA concentration was 8 microgram per ml. So I have volume of 10 ml. So totally I have a yield of 80 microgram. So this is the simplest procedure. We started with the DNA concentration and DNA at the beginning we are sure that we will end up with some error while we are starting with isolation and quantification of DNA. So to avoid the particular error, we have to make sure that the diluent which we used for UV spectrophotometer, if it is acidic in nature, it completely hydrolyzes the nucleic acids. If the diluent is alkaline, it changes the specific hydrogen bonding between base pairs and destabilize the structure of double stranded DNA. So in the isolation procedure, if the solvents are low salt buffer, then it produces reproducible readings. If the OD is higher than 1.8, previously I showed you that more than 2, better keep in your mind, if the OD is 1.8 and greater, then your DNA sample is contaminated with RNA. Yes, I hope the session was quite interesting for everyone. If you have any queries, please get back to us on given email ID. Thank you for staying connected.